April in the Midwest means it's sprint car racing season at Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio. An action of a sort that leaves an indelible impression on the minds of both drivers and fans. On a half-mile track, these cars reach speeds of up to 110 miles per hour on the straightaways. And you'll watch National Championship Sprint Car Racing live today on ABC's Wide World of Sports. From a little town named Rossburg, population 500, and the site today for National Championship Sprint Car Racing.
Yeah, you can see this is the race that was held just 20 years ago in 1964. The people that finished first and second, Branson and Larson, were killed just 2 years after that in '66. The next three names, of course, survived to prosper. Such is fate in sprint car racing.
And it shows you also what this sport used to be. In a sense, it was a great springboard for Indianapolis-style racing. Fellas would start in this type of racing, and as you can see, some of the other finishers, Jim McElreath went on to a tremendous career, of course, and Arnie Nepper-Gordon. John Cock is there, and Bobby Unser. So what a field as you look back to what took place here 20 years ago. They tell us one more lap now, and then they will be getting the green flag if the field is correctly aligned. But those were the old days, Sam, when you used to work your way up through sprint car racing. Nowadays, what you do is you find a good banker to get to Indy. Warming up as we take a look at the fellas who will contend for the championship here at Eldora Speedway. And the first row is comprised of Mark Alderson, 17, and Dennis Donaldson in car 7. But then in the second row, Gary Gray along with Tom Bigelow, the winningest sprint car driver in USAC history. He's won 52 races. Dave Blaney and Jack Hewitt, who won 5 races last year and won this race in '82, is in car 5X, the white car. Leon Thixton and the veteran Johnny Parsons, if that name sounds familiar. Well, he's raced at the Indy 500 9 times. Butler and Kinzer in 5. And then Bobby Kinzer, who is the father of Randy, along with Jerry Niemeyer, in row 6. Bobby Atkins and Rick time around. Again, a half-mile track. They'll go 30 laps or 15 miles. $2,000 for the winner. And here we go with the green flag out, and Denny Donaldson is the first man into the corner, followed by Mark Alderson. Tom Bigelow is seeking his 53rd career win in the red car number 14, but he has dropped back.
Certain amount of dust, but as you can see, visibility is good at this point. The track, as you mentioned, having just been watered down.
Meanwhile, Blaney has worked his way up into 4th position. Gary Gray is currently 3rd, with Donaldson still out in front, and Alderson in 2nd place, and Jack Hewitt is making a charge now. Jack Hewitt, who flipped a couple of years ago in the yellow 5X in the qualifying portion of the competition, and wound up winning the feature race in 1982. Jack Hewitt is a man to watch.
All right, there is Blaney in the yellow car, number 2, and Dave Blaney, the young kid, really, just 21 years old, very promising, and we're going to watch him here because he was excellent in the qualifying. No, just as we talk about Blaney, he goes in too hot into turn number 1. That from the man from Hartford, Ohio, from very nearby. He drove 5 hours this morning to be here. He told me he thought he got up a little bit too early today. Maybe the length of the day here, the heat of the sun, whatever, he made a driving error.
Well, it's a long day, but it's a yellow flag, and again, you're not penalized that much because you have the yellow flag out. Laps do not count under the yellow.
He went down very low going in there, and the force of the car just took him up wide into an area where you don't get that good a grip in the upper part. Now, here's another angle. You see, it's hopeless for him there, and the car just spins around suddenly. The main point is, of course, Allie was very lucky not to hit the wall.
We've had a restart, and now all of a sudden another yellow flag as we come to you live from Rossburg, Ohio, the feature race. The leader is Jack Hewitt, but car 7, just spinning, Denny Donaldson, had been running in 2nd position. This just happened just a moment ago, just as we're coming out of commercial.
He spun, and now one of those remarkable things, he did not stall the car. He got it pointed absolutely perfectly, and these cars, which cannot be started on their own, he would have come to a complete stop, but he got it pointed straight and was able to just chug away. Here, Al, there's a sign just outside of turn 3 that says, Hewitt, do it. Here is the correct standings. The reason for some of the numbers having letters after them is that many of these cars compete in other series other than this one. So when they cross over and they come and do a USAC race instead of a World of Outlaws race, they have to put a letter there to clarify the difference.
Like an algebra formula. Here we go. Green flag is out, and this is lap 8 because he caused the yellow. Denny Donaldson was moved to the back of the pack. So Hewitt is the leader. Mark Alderson is second. Steve Butler is third. Gary Gray is fourth. But Hewitt is running out in front, and he is a fellow who just loves this racetrack, obviously. Won 5 races on the USAC Trail last year and won this race in 1982 in a good battle as they scramble for positions 3, 4, and 5. Butler, Gray, and Randy Kinzer has moved his way up, and Ricky Hood has come from well back in the pack in car 39A. Ricky Hood, who was the first heat winner, to get into contention right now.
Ricky Hood, 31 years old, from Memphis, Tennessee. The reason that this track is giving us so many problems at this point, Al, is that it's very slippery. This hard-packed earth with this light dusting of ground over top of it. It's just that these cars get almost no bite. It would be exactly as if you were driving a street machine that had 600 horsepower on ball tires. That's about what they're facing now.
And with 20 laps to go, Mark Alderson has slowed down. Alderson had been running in second place, but he slowed down. In fact, he's inching his way back in car number 17, so he is effectively out of contention for the top spot today as Jack Hewitt just keeps sailing along in car 5. Steve Butler in 98 is now second. Gary Gray has moved up to third, and Ricky Hood is in 4th place. And there is Jack Hewitt, car 5X.
With that car classically cocked up against what they call the cushion. And Al, I believe that Jack Arute is down in the pits, has a report. Jack?
Sam, you said at the end of the semi-feature that the fellow that won might have learned something. When we spoke to Steve Butler before the feature, he indeed said that he had learned a lot about the racetrack and thought it would work to his advantage during the main. He's running in second, so it seems to have worked well.
Well, thanks, Jack. Of course, what you learn about the track is where you can place your car to most advantage. Not necessarily every car, because remember, there are essential differences in gearing and then the tire selection from car to car.
There's the battle for 3, 4, and 5. Hood, Gray, and Kinzer. Ricky Hood out of Memphis, Tennessee, the yellow car, 1983 Rookie of the Year. Randy Kinzer right there also. Bobby Kinzer's son, a father and son combination in this race, and they're all charging or trying to make a charge at the leader, who is Jack Hewitt, who is sailing along.
Whoa!
And the Hewitt goes very, very high, and in fact we have a stall. The car spinning out in the second turn. That is Blaney again. Dave Blaney, and cars just come out again at Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio, where Jack Hewitt is still the leader. Steve Butler is in second place. Ricky Hood has made a tremendous charge from 13th place in the yellow car 39A, and Gary Gray is 4th, followed by Randy Kinzer and Tom Bigelow in 6th place. But there is car number 5, Jack Hewitt, maneuvering, and up on the inside now comes Butler. So a great race, and Butler makes contact with Hewitt, but he's able to stay on course. And both cars head down the main straightaway. Tremendous racing.
Very good driving by Hewitt there, Al. It's very easy when that front wheel is hit like that to lose control. Of course it is. I mean, you can see that for yourself. And Hewitt held on to that magnificently.
So, because of that yellow flag, Steve Butler was able to move up on the rear and exploit it as he's able to pass Hewitt. Hewitt had taken a pretty good sized lead until that last yellow flag, and another spin now in turn 3. A spin in turn 3.
All right, let's have a look at the pass here. All right, this is where the incident occurred. This is terrific racing, obviously, with Butler in the blue car going down low, Jack Hewitt up high. Now, Butler couldn't do a thing about it. I mean, he was sliding out, and he just pinched Hewitt in there. Hewitt saw it coming for a long time and curiously chose to ride it out. Now that I look at it again, Al, he could have slowed up a bit, but Hewitt toughed it out and survived it.
Still under the yellow flag at Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio. Officially now they have completed 16 of 30 laps. They were on lap 17 when the yellow came out. They did not complete it, so 14 laps to go. Chuck Amati, who had been working his way into a contention, has just been penalized a lap for jumping the green. The last time it came out, it comes out again here, and they're racing again in Rossburg with Butler the leader, and Hewitt in second place, and Ricky Hood taking the inside line on the yellow 39 side by side with Hewitt. and now sliding back into third place. But there's the leader, Steve Butler, who, as Jack Arute told us, learned something in the semi, and he's putting it to good use in the feature.
Look at how slippery the track is, Al. There's almost a mirror finish on it, and look at that battle for second and third. Excellent as you see them take entirely different lines with very much the same result.
That's Hood and Hewitt. Hewitt in the white car on the outside, and Hood, who started 13th on the inside, now sliding in as they head down the main straightaway, sliding in back of them and taking the low line again, with Hewitt liking that outside line and prevailing, at least for the moment. The leader is still Butler.
That's what makes this form of racing so interesting to watch, don't you think, Al? That many different lines around the track will work for you. Hood obviously lost a little ground on that, but still, taking an entirely different and unorthodox line, he was still virtually keeping abreast.
You know, Sam, one of the things I think that also makes this form of racing very popular is that the fellas are not shielded. They're not encased in metal, as is the case with the NASCAR drivers. Of course, the Indy car drivers are down very low and going so fast you can barely see them at work. These guys sit right out in the open. It's a small track. You're right on top of the action. You can literally see them moving inside the cockpit and watching them at work.
Well, they take a physical beating because of that. Here's that battle for second and third. You know, Al, because quite often a rock or a clod of earth or something gets thrown back at them. 8 laps to go now, and this is the battle of the day. Excellent with Hood and Hewitt. Hewitt there in the white car riding high. Hood, the youngster, trying to make something happen down low.
And they're not that far back of the leader, who is Steve Butler. He's certainly aware of their presence, as he is in turn 1, followed by Hewitt in the white car, and then Hood, who has really done a remarkable job of working his way up, but he's having a difficult time. Now he's able to slide down low and on the inside and get by Hewitt, but will Hewitt be able to reclaim second? Well, by the time they cross the finish line, they are side by side, and it is great racing as they go into turn number 1.
Absolutely classic racing. The cars, incidentally, about 110 miles an hour on the straight, 75 miles an hour on the turn, requiring a superb sense of balance, Al, to drive these cars, because as you see, they are sliding all the time. The angle of that slide controlled not only by the steering, but by the throttle. A very delicate operation.
Right now, 4.5 laps to go as they're on the backstretch, with Butler leading, Hood in second place, and Hewitt in third position. And now it is Hood who is moving up on the leader with 4 laps to go. That's 2 miles over this half-mile circuit. Going sideways there between 1 and 2, taking that very low line, cutting the advantage just momentarily, but he doesn't have enough force to work his way out of turn number 2, and it's still Butler out in front.
You know, Al, every time Hood takes that low line, sometimes it works for him, and sometimes he gets caught in the ruts down there, and it doesn't work out. It's kind of a gamble each time, but it's a gamble that it looks to me like he better take if he wants to have a shot at the win. Butler's very inexperienced, though, so if he could get right up on him, Hood might be able to slip by.
Well, he's going to have to make a move and think about what he wants to do very, very quickly, because they'll have 2 laps to go as they come by the start-finish line. 2 laps to go. Butler is the leader. Hood is in second, and Hewitt in third place, and not showing any signs of making a move at either of the first 2.
No, Hewitt, the most experienced of the leading trio, seems to be coming up on the short end at the moment. All right, now here's Hood. He's only, you know, it's got very little time now, and he's going to have to try that low line again if he has any chance.
There's the white flag, and he will try the low line. This is the final lap. He goes very, very low. He momentarily assumes the lead, but it doesn't have enough horsepower coming out of turn 2, and so Butler is able to stand on it. Butler goes to the outside. Here comes Hood down to the inside. There's also a back marker there that might come into play, but it is still Butler who takes the checkered flag. Hood could not catch him, made a gallant charge. Jack Hewitt, who had the lead for the better part of the early race, winds up third. Randy Kinzer, Bobby's son and Steve's brother, comes in fourth, and Tom Bigelow, the veteran, ran consistently to finish fifth, and unofficially we have Gary Gray in sixth. So Steve Butler is able to hold off the charge of Hood. It was his feature race at Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio, and there are the unofficial results with Steve Butler, the winner of the feature. We'll be back. And it's official, number 98, Steve Butler, the winner at Eldora. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines, the official airline of the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics, and proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team.